Welcome to Furniture Clinic. In this video we will show you how to fix cat scratches on leather. As you can see, this leather armchair has suffered considerable damage from cat scratches to the left arm. Contrary to what you might think, even damage as severe as this example can be repaired using a relatively quick and easy process. In order to repair the damage, we will be using our heavy filler, available on its own or as part of our leather repair kit, the leather binder, and, as the damage is greater than the area that is covered by a hand, a small colorant kit. For areas of damage smaller than your hand, a leather touch-up kit should be sufficient to use in place of the colorant kit. Please note, before attempting any repair, you should always clean the area thoroughly with Leather Ultra Clean to remove any dirt from the surface of the leather. The first stage in repairing the damage is to trim any loose fibers, often found with cat scratches, using a pair of sharp scissors as shown. Only longer fibers need to be removed. Take care at this stage not to puncture or cut the leather and cause further damage. Once all of the fibers have been trimmed, the next step is to apply the leather binder. To do this, simply take the leather binder and apply a small amount to a sponge, then use this to work the binder into the area being treated. The leather binder should be applied in approximately 8 to 10 coats, with time allowed for the previous coat to properly dry before applying the next. The binder soaks into the fibers of the leather and works to bind them together and strengthen the leather, allowing for a stronger, more durable repair. After allowing the final coat to completely dry, the next step is to lightly sand the area down using a fine sandpaper. 1200 grit sandpaper is fine for this purpose. The aim of this step is to provide an even, smooth surface to begin the next stage of the repair. Once you've sanded the area down, it is ready for the application of the heavy filler. Use a spatula included in the leather repair kit to take a small amount of heavy filler and apply to the leather directly onto the areas of damage as shown. Use the edge of the spatula to smooth it over and remove excess. The filler should be applied in a series of thin layers, allowing time for each layer to dry completely before applying the next. A thin layer should dry sufficiently in approximately 10 to 25 minutes if left to dry naturally. If laid on too thick, the time needed to dry is extended significantly. The damage has been sufficiently filled when all areas, including deeper cuts or gouges, feel level with the surface of the leather when you run your fingers over it. Once filled, the area should be sanded down again with sandpaper to ensure the surface is smooth and even before applying the colorant. Once this is done, take the alcohol cleaner included in the colorant kit, apply a small amount to a clean cloth and wipe the area down. This will remove any dirt and residue from the previous stages of the repair process. The next step in the process is to apply the colorant. To apply the first layer, simply pour a small amount of the colorant onto a sponge and use this to rub the colour into the area being repaired as shown. Once the whole area has been given a thin coat, you should allow time to dry. Applying the first coat in this manner allows the colorant to get into all of the valleys and crevices of the leather, ensuring a more professional result. After the first coat has been applied and allowed to dry, the colorant should be sprayed on using the airbrush. Build the colorant up in a series of thin layers, allowing time for each layer to dry properly before applying the next. There are no exact figures for how many coats should be used. You should simply use as many thin coats of colorant as it takes to completely cover the area being repaired. If using a touch-up kit for smaller areas of damage, the colorant can simply be applied in thin layers as above, using a sponge rather than the airbrush. For the final stage, once you are satisfied that the area is sufficiently covered and the colorant has been properly dried, the leather finish must be applied. First, use the airbrush to apply the super seal in 2 or 3 layers, again allowing time for each to dry before applying the next. The super seal works to seal in the colorant and provides an incredibly robust and flexible finish. Once this has been applied, take the leather finish and again use the airbrush to apply multiple thin layers to the area, allowing time for each layer to dry as before. The finish should be applied in a minimum of 3 to 4 layers. As can be seen from the before and after images shown here, what looked like very severe damage from cat scratches can actually be repaired using the correct products and the right processes to look almost as good as new.